what do I need to do to qualify for a ground up construction loan? Right now, there's a few options, right? You have your banks, which provide limited spec construction lending. Maybe it's ADU units on a single family home. There's ways to get funding for all this. Just, we got to document. We got to know what your experience is as a developer, builder, or flipper. Can you show that you've done a lot of transactions? If not, can we bring in a GC that's done a lot in the area that we could supplement the lack of experience on your half?
Welcome to the Investor Financing Podcast, where we interview real estate investors and lenders so you can learn all the secrets to getting your projects funded and scale your portfolio. And now, your host, Bo Eckstein.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Investor Financing Podcast. And I'm your host, Bo Eckstein. And today we're going to talk about spec construction loans and how you go about qualifying for these loans. And just the basics, getting a lot of inquiries from investors wondering, what do I need to do to qualify for a ground up construction loan? And so right now there's a few options, right? You have your banks, which provide limited spec construction lending, but there's a lot of red tape with banks because they like to work with certain experience level. You have to have a certain net worth requirement to get these things going. So usually the bank's not the best way, especially if you haven't done many spec construction loan projects. So usually what I would recommend is looking at a debt fund, and they scrutinize the deal a lot less. Basically, they look at your track record. Have you done fix and flips? Have you done any new builds? Who's the GC? What's the GC's background? So even if you haven't done new builds, the way you got to create the story, because I have to go out and sell it to the underwriter that the experience is there. So who's the GC? What have they built in the area, right? This is all the stuff you need to know. What have recent comps sold for? Brand new construction in a half a mile radius, similar square footage. Putting all that together, there is funding for you. Depending on the deal itself, or at close of escrow, will you have plans entitled? If not, what's the time frame to get entitlement? Typically, I recommend trying to get a longer extended escrow so you close and you're ready to pull permits. You're shovel ready at that point when you close with the seller. Maybe you own the land free and clear already. This is all the dialogue that we need to have in the beginning. Maybe you're building a fourplex. Maybe it's a sixplex, a 10plex. Whatever the case is, maybe it's ADU units on a single family home. There's ways to get funding for all this. Just, we got to document. We got to know what your experience is as a developer, builder, or flipper. Can you show that you've done a lot of transactions? If not, can we bring in a GC that's done a lot in the area that we could supplement the lack of experience on your behalf? So anyways, that's what the general parameters of spec construction loans look like. You're looking at 80 to 90% of total cost, potentially, for solid builders. Gross loan amounts typically not to exceed 70% of this completed value, right? Same thing they look at the flip for, same thing. But anyways, depending on the scenario, if you own the lot already, if you don't, you're purchasing it, we can create a structure that's win-win. But I just somebody reached out, actually 2 or 3 people reached out just to talk about some, construction loans. Just limited inventory, people want to build, it's opportunistic, I get it. And so that's why we're here. You can run the scenario by me at any time, calendar links below. Thank you for watching, liking, subscribing. See you on the next show.
Thanks for listening to the Investor Financing Podcast. For show notes and useful resources, please visit investorfinancingpodcast.com. For questions or comments, email info@investorfinancingpodcast.com. If you enjoy our show, please share it with your network. Until next time.